first words are vessels for what is in the what's after the de. They are used regularly to house something. Okay, so for example, un verre is to have something in it. Une bouteille is to have something in it. A carnet is obviously a little book of multiple bits of paper, tickets, whatever. Although people tend to use cards now. Carnet would be what you'd buy in the Paris metro if you wanted a multiple book of the tickets. But people use the card now, like in London, like in in New York and stuff. So that would be de. A collection of books, because a collection requires something to be a collection. Une collection de livres. A big number of people, un grand nombre de personnes. Now, I have to just stress the opposite of this is when you talk about flavour or filling. So, for example, in the bottle, inside the bottle is wine, inside the glass is milk. If you're talking about sandwiches, which I love to talk about because I love sandwiches and I'm a celiac, which means I can't have proper bread. I really miss it. So, if you said, for example, a ham sandwich, un sandwich au jambon, a chocolate croissant, un chocolat au croissant. We're not saying de there because it's not entirely filled up with or made up from that thing. As lovely as this sounds to me, a ham sandwich, un sandwich de jambon, would be ham, and then some ham in the middle. Okay? So apologies for anybody that's prohibited from eating pig religiously or what have you. But the fact is, so an apple pie is a pie with some apples in it. It's not entirely filled up with apples. So une tarte aux pommes, une tarte à la pomme if we're talking about flavour. Okay, so a cup of tea, a mint tea, thé à la menthe would be like flavour. So we use a for flavour or some filling. But if we're talking about what it's full of, we will use de. So I have to stress the difference, okay? So get those in your mouth. Sandwich au jambon. Yeah, sandwich au jambon. Une bouteille de vin. Okay, une bouteille de vin. Okay, just get them in your mouth. Okay? So, again, we use this de in combination with the article with the word the for some. Okay? Now, on a side note, those of you whose minds are thinking, I thought some was quelque, you can say quelque for a few of something plural, but this some is going to be some either of a singular thing or of lots of examples of, or a sample of a bigger thing. So, for example, I would like some butter. I'm taking a piece of butter from the larger amount of butter. Or I would like some ice cream. Another thing I'm allergic to. You're not taking all the ice cream. I would give it a chance. You're taking some ice cream from a larger amount. Or I would like some Maltesers, some M&Ms. You are having repeated full entities of the Malteser. So some you've got to think of as a scoop. And this, the other way around, would be en, like I talk about. So I'm going to buy some, je vais en acheter. But if you're saying some with the word, so some milk, some money, some cars, you are going to use the word de plus the relevant word the. So de plus la, fine, de la. De plus le has to become du. De plus les, des. So de and la, D-E-L-A. Du, D and you, one word. Des, D-E-S. Okay? And if you had a word which began with a vowel, so I, for example, is garlic. Some garlic would be de l'ail, okay, or water, de l'eau, okay. So we keep the de le apostrophe. So some butter would be du beurre. Some money would be de l'argent. Some cars would be des voitures, okay. So this would be the word that we would use, the words that we would use, okay. Lovely. After the expression besoin. So I need something. In French we say I have need of. And we used to say that in more formal English, I have need of your assistance. Okay, so there's no verb for need really in French. There's require, necessitate, but we really do use avoir besoin de. So j'ai besoin de votre aide, I need your help. Yeah? I need, now this could be a verb afterwards or a person or an object afterwards. So j'ai besoin de parler, I need to speak. I need the water, j'ai besoin de l'eau. Remembering, you've got an expression there with de. So if you switched it round, you have dans, and if you got rid of it, you have en. So I need the water that I need in English becomes l'eau dont j'ai besoin, the water of which I have need. I have need of it, j'en ai besoin. Okay, because you've got rid of de and. Okay, so there, for example, dumb point. I ride horses. Okay, so I will use the verb ridden. You know, I rode, I have ridden. I use that word a lot. That word is in my mouth. If we talk about grooves in the sand, I use the word ridden more than I would use the word rid, like get rid of. So notice how in my mouth, ridden came flying out there, because it's about grooves in the sand. You've got to have made sure you've said the correct version as many times. It just, otherwise little accidents happen, okay? So, I did this last night. I was talking about something, again with Claire from Australia, and I said, I wanted to say ally. And I don't massively discuss the Second World War, so I don't use the word allies very often. But I use aller for go, so I just went, yeah, you know, so they were allies, and it came out. Now, I obviously know what allies means, I obviously know what ally means, but because one is in my mouth memory, one is in my muscle memory, this is what you've got to do with your French. Okay? So, side note with the des thing, des. If you have a plural verb, a plural object, in correct French, you don't say des. So, for example, pretty eyes, instead of des jolis yeux, it would be de jolis yeux, okay? Or ce sont de grands auteurs, they are great authors. Or de nouvelles maisons, some new houses. Okay, we've had this example before. Okay, when you have a negative, and I'm always telling my students this, so just say for me, pas de, 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 pas de. So if somebody said, Luc, do you have a sister? Luc, est-ce que tu as une sœur? No, I haven't got a sister. Non, je n'ai pas de sœur. Or j'ai pas de sœur if you don't want to use the ne. You don't have to say j'ai pas une sœur. You don't have to, just pas de. Have you got any money? Non, j'ai pas d'argent. Pas de, pas de. Nothing is stopping us using aucun or aucune. So je n'ai aucun argent, j'ai aucun argent. Je n'ai aucune idée, I've got no idea. But pas de with something you haven't got, okay? Or for any. So he hasn't drunk any wine. He hasn't got any friends. Il n'a pas d'amis. I haven't got a car. Je n'ai pas de voiture. He hasn't drunk any wine. Il n'a pas bu de vin. No, so pas de. Okay. Where are we? Forms that are useful. Okay. Lovely. D comes before the word others if you are using the plural and you are not using the word the. For example, another person, singular, une autre. Yeah, or un autre, whatever's going on. Enfin, un autre garçon, une autre femme. Okay. If you have got other boys, so other and then a plural, you're going to have d'autres garçons. Yeah, d'autres garçons. If you have got the other, les autres, yeah, you're going to have the word the before it. That's no problem at all. But if you don't have the before it, or, you know, two other women, aux autres femmes, if you don't have that article before it, you will need de. So, there are other reasons. Il y a d'autres raisons. Yeah, rather than il y a autre raison, okay? You don't need to be saying autre on its own. You have to have d'autres before it, yeah? Lovely. So, used as a complementizer before an infinitive. That's a bit of a weird way of putting it, okay? So basically, this is how I teach this one. Um, if you've got if you've got an infinitive, which is the big to form up here, so I am going to speak, I will, I want to speak, I wanted to speak, I prefer to speak, I would like to speak. Whatever's going on, it's the first verb that takes you up to this infinitive, and I always ask you to try and stack your verbs so that you get more comfortable with pronouns. So, je veux le faire, je vais pouvoir le faire, that you always remember to stack the verbs. You can have multiple infinitives. Je vais essayer de continuer à, whatever, le faire. The fact is, try and stack them. But the point with that is, it's the first verb that will get you up to the to form. Same as in English. I want, verb number one, to eat bread. I would love, verb number one, to be able to eat bread. So I always have this first verb that will give me the to form. Okay. Except in English, there are times when you use to on its own. To be or not to be. But that's different. So the fact is, in French, if you find yourself in this infinitive, which often in English replaces ing, French replaces ing in English. Whoa, what am I doing up here? Why am I in the long form when I didn't have a first verb? So if you have another word that's not a verb before your to form, your long form, your infinitive, often it will be de that will take you up there. So for example, I am happy to speak to you. Je suis content de parler, or de vous parler. I'm happy to eat. Je suis content de manger. Okay, I'm happy to eat. Je suis content de manger. If you have, let's look at. So we've stopped publishing. It's not I want to publish. It's we've stopped. Different sort of idea. We've stopped. On a cessé de publier. Tell him to come. Dis-lui. To come would be venir. Dis-lui de venir. I need a de. What I want is to be happy. Ce que je veux, c'est. Now I've got it is. It is to be. No, that's not. We're not saying it. This one thing is going to be happy. So the thing I want is to be. Ce que je veux, c'est d'être content. He was happy to speak to me. Il était content de me parler. This de, the bounce up de, as I call it. Okay, the bounce up de. Okay, so that's a really, really common thing in French. Side note: if you're using a bounce up de, remember if you're going to make your infinitive negative or give it an adverb, it has to come before the infinitive. As do your prepositions, your pronouns. So, for example, I'm happy to speak to him. Je suis content de lui parler, not de anywhere else. I'm happy to not speak to him. Je suis content de ne pas. So notice your normal ne and pas. I know, obviously, I often get rid of the ne. Je suis content de ne pas lui parler. So I'm happy to not eat anything. Je suis content de rien or ne rien manger. So this de is a very powerful thing in French. This bounce down de. Okay. So if you say it was nice to talk to him, Luke. Yeah, that was nice of you to go and talk to the old man that was lonely. C'était sympa to talk. Ooh, what got me up to talk? So c'était sympa de lui parler. Okay, good. Before a past participle, this is a rarer one for those of you who work with me. Another glass broken. Encore un verre de cassé. A glass of broken. Okay. Something more interesting. Quelque chose de plus intéressant. Somebody good. Quelqu'un de bien. Somewhere else. Quelque part de plus proche. So what's the example here? When an indefinite noun phrase is qualified by a past participle, it's indefinite because it's saying another broken glass rather than the other broken glass. We would insert de. Okay, there's no equivalent in English. Lovely. So quelque chose de bien, quelque chose de plus facile. Lovely. With what other ones are relevant?